He is Jalen Anthony Rose.
What up, dog?
I'm David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in,
Together we're Jalen Jacoby. What is it that we do?
we give the people what they want.
Well, the NCAA is finally giving their athletes what they've wanted for decades. You'll never believe this, Jalen, but the NCAA board is now supporting that their athletes can get compensated for their name, their image, and their likeness. Is this too little too late, or is it just finally time they made the natural adjustment that we all knew they would?
Never too little too late. And Jacoby, I know I don't look like it, but I've been out of high school almost 30 years. Okay. And I've lived and seen all of the rules continue to change, as well as a lot of people's opinions, whether for public consumption and in the media over that span of time, whether it was the stigma of players who decided and had the nerve to skip their senior year and forego the draft to go to the NBA, or the people who had the nerve to find a way to go to school and after 2 seasons wanted to go to the NBA. You're not valuing academics. You're only focused on being a job. Players had to go do press conferences like, yo, I know I'm leaving early, want to go hardship, want to take care of my family. I'm definitely going to come back and get my degree. Stop the record. It's okay to be a professional basketball player. Mm-hmm. And for those who have the opportunity right out of high school, if they choose to do so, they should have the opportunity. If that was our Fab Five class, C-Web and Jawan, they should have went to the league. Jalen, Ray, Jimmy, go to college. And that's just how the scenarios, in my opinion, should and would have played out. But collegiate basketball is still going to exist, just like G League overseas options as well. But to have the top players like LaMelo Ball, your favorite player, my adopted brother, going overseas, making more money than he can make in the United States, the G League had to fix that, Jacoby. And so now you have multiple options. Go to the G League, go to college, go overseas. In a couple of years, it's going to be go to the NBA.
So those options are really just for those top tier prospects. So like those options are really for the 1% of the 1% that are guaranteed to go to the NBA, but there are still hundreds of thousands of scholar athletes in the NCAA. And guess what? Not a lot of people are lining up to pay them for their likeness and their image. Like you have your Trevor Lawrences and your Cole Anthonys, James Wiseman's, like these stars. But what does this rule change mean for the other 99% of college athletes?
And also, you're going to see, even with like Jalen Green, who got a deal with Upper Deck and also got $500,000. Everybody, when you throw those numbers out there, let's be relative. I'm very happy for these young men getting a red shirt season, getting a chance to hone their craft. I think those that go to college should be able to major in sports and or the sport that they specialize in, learn what owners do, general managers, presidents, trainers, physicians, the people who do marketing and promotions and advertising. Like you should also be able to invest in your sport. And so the options in the past should exist. They will exist, but let's not act like, Jacoby, that's the goal. People ain't going to be in their backyards making the last shot like 3, 2, 1. G League. They're not going to be saying that. They're going to be saying NBA. That's still where these young players want to go. And if Jalen Green was going to be the number 1 player this year, he would have got Zion money. And that's $44 million over 4 years. So we still have some tweaks to do to the rule, but I'm glad the NCAA, the NBA, and obviously the options for the players are definitely making progress since I was in high school almost 30 years ago.
Yeah, well, the latest is that Daishen Nix, another prospect, along with aforementioned Jalen Green and Isaiah Todd, all of them are going to the G League under this sort of like new package where they make approximately $500,000 and then sort of redshirt a year in the G League. If you were coming out of high school, as you mentioned earlier today, not quite 30 years ago, you undersold yourself a little bit. What path would you take? Would you go do a one-and-done year in college? Would you stay at college a few years like you did? Or would you go to the G League, get a check, and redshirt for a year before you go to the league?
Speaking of paths, happy birthday to my lovely mother, Jeannie Cassandra Rose. I love you very much. And as you talked about the person who would have gone number one, whose last name is Green, she created that name. And for Isaiah Todd, he was going to go to Michigan because he was signed to play with my Fab Five brother. So, Jacoby, you know I wanted to see him in Maize and Blue. I did. But they deserve options. Going to the G League, going overseas, going to college, in a couple of years, going to the NBA. Each opportunity is still going to be there. But I also want to do a warning. Just because you're younger now and you're a pro and you're getting the money, that means you assume more responsibility at a youthful age. Money managing, being an entrepreneur, leading a team of agents, managers, chef, a trainer. You also become the CEO of your own conglomerate, Jacoby. So I'm just hoping that these young men get the life skills so that they can not only get a G League check or get a rookie check, but success ain't how much dough you make or how famous you are right now. It's your longevity. And that's what I'm hoping that all of these young people get the opportunity to accomplish.
Jalen, it is now time for some very important news that matters. As you can hear the sirens and my children screaming in the background, we're all working from home. And even those of us that are on television are working from home. And sometimes you get caught out there. Let's take a look at this footage from Good Morning America. Look at my man's leg right there. The thigh meat is out. Like, not only is he wearing shorts, I think he might be wearing drawers right there. What do you think about the thigh meat out on the shot from home?
I think that's a soft move. And as a professional, I want to teach everybody something that want to get into this industry. When you walk in front of that camera, everybody could be watching. Okay, there are multiple studios with that company that you work for. That microphone does work. When you speak, ain't no telling who hears it. So therefore, even though you think the camera's only going to see you from the waist up, that don't mean show up with some biker shorts on or some tights. You still got to at least have on some jogging pants, Jacoby, or something. I ain't saying wear no khakis or jeans. What are you wearing? What are you doing?
What did you say? You said it was a soft move?
Oh, no.
You said it was a soft move, Jalen?
Is that thigh
When we
meat?
come back,
Is that
you will get my top 5 prospects in
Is
the
that
NBA.
lamb?
Got to give the people time. Give the people what they want.
Though we're apart these days, we're sharing more. So, at Geico, we'd like to say thanks. Thanks for sharing your savage dance moves. Thanks for sharing your DIY haircut fails. Thanks for sharing your inner lip sync star. Now, it's our turn to share with the Geico Give Back. A 15% credit on car and motorcycle policies for current and new customers. Because we're committed for the long haul, the 15% credit lasts your full policy term. Visit geico.com/giveback for more info and eligibility.
Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby, no longer live from Pier 17 at the Seaport, but still brought to you by Heineken. Jalen, one of my favorite basketball players on the planet has never even stepped on an NBA court, LaMelo Ball. But he soon will. LaMelo Ball has declared that he will be a part of this summer's NBA draft. And it got me thinking, Jalen, let's get ready for this draft a little bit. I'm going to propose to you who I have as my personal top 5 prospects in the draft. This was not easy. There's a lot of people to look at. I'm starting with number 5 on my big board. Gentleman by the name of Obi Toppin. Aside from having one of the best names in the draft, and there's a lot of good names in this draft, he's a vet. You know, he reminds me kind of like Kyle Kuzma, not his game, but how he has had 4 years to season in college, and he broke out this year, his senior year, with the Flyers. And then I have at number 4, Isaac Okoro. Not as celebrated as the other people on this list, but NBA ready. NBA ready. He was at Auburn. He only played there for 1 season. He doesn't jump off the screen at you, but he has all of the tools and all the measurables that an NBA team is looking for today's NBA. And then we get to number 3. Now we get to the big names. James Wiseman. We all know what happened with him at Memphis, but he's 7'1". He's got a 7'6" wingspan. He can run up and down the floor. He's athletic. He seems like a prototypical center in today's NBA. And the Warriors, they need one of those, and they will have a high pick. And then we have number 2, Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards of Georgia. He's an NBA star. Like, he's just got NBA star written all over him. And he's probably what I would call the safest pick in this draft, but he doesn't have the highest ceiling. The player who, in my mind, has the highest ceiling, my guy, LaMelo Ball. You know I love LaMelo Ball. I was going to move to Australia. I was going to quit the show and move to Australia and just follow him around like he was the Grateful Dead while he was down under. He got injured at the end of the season. And listen, he is not NBA ready. He is not. He is not a finely tuned, high IQ, low turnover point guard, perfect athlete that you can just place on an NBA roster right now and he'll perform great. But he has such a high ceiling with his range, with his height, his passing ability, and his playmaking ability. To me, he is the number 1 prospect in the draft. Take a look at this list, Jalen Rose. What would you change on it?
I like your list, Jacoby. This is the most research that you've ever done in the history of this program. It's really impressive, actually. And it's accurate. Obi Toppin reminds me a lot of a former teammate, standing tall and talented, Amari Stoudemire. The way he's built, the explosion, he taking it through his legs doing basketball games. Is he the first person to do that? Vince did it in the dunk contest. So did J.R. Ryder. He doing it in the game. Okoro. Bruce Pearl raves about this guy. How he can get his own shot off the dribble. How he competes on both ends. Wiseman. We know his season got cut short with Memphis, but the sky's the limit for this lefty. All he got to do is continue to improve his shot, but he's going to be able to finish block shots, run the floor, change ends. And you know, Jacoby, what college do my daughter go to? What college does Mariah go to?
University of Georgia. Bulldogs.
But you know, I done seen a lot of Edwards. I done seen a lot of him. Because at first I thought he was off wax. He was kind of under the radar. People kind of didn't really know about him, like over the summer. And then all of a sudden, boom, the season start. And then you realize, like, wait a minute, this guy got game. And so a lot of people liken him to Dwayne Wade. And I'm not mad at LaMelo Ball. You know I'm biased to tall point guards. He can see the floor. He had a game, it seemed like 6 years ago. We had 90 in high school. 90. Okay.
Now, there's a lot of people, Jalen. A lot of people would point out that the gentleman at the top of my draft prospects shoots about 27% from 3. That's fine. You know what I mean? He's developing. Like, to me, when I say prospects, it's the high ceiling. It's the high ceiling on LaMelo.
And for you, the ceiling is the roof. Here's what I would say, though. So did his brother. And he improved. And he can knock him down now. That's something that a player can work on with ethic. And I think he has it. And I'm not mad at your top 5. Great job, sir.
Oh, thank you so much, Jalen Anthony Rose. Now, the Warriors I mentioned because they are going to be picking probably in the top 5 because they had literally the worst record in the NBA. And Steve Kerr was asked about the future of this season. And here's what he had to say.
It's different for us because, we were down to 17 games, but we were out of the playoffs, and it feels like the end of the season for our team. It just does. And we don't know anything officially. There's still a chance the league could ask us to come back and play some games, but everybody is just sort of assuming that, this is kind of it. We're not going to be involved much anymore.
I mean, this is great to me because it feels like the Lakers are talking to the city about reopening practice facilities, trying to get back on the floor. And it feels like the Warriors are doing the exact opposite. They're sending messages through their head coach to Adam Silver like, dog, don't make us play professional basketball again. We're good. We are 15-50. We're totally fine with that. We'll stay right there. Y'all can have the playoffs, but don't make me put that uniform back on and play basketball. What do you think about Coach Kerr's comments?
I like how he said, well, the league can ask us to do a few things in order to end the season. And that requirement would need to be fulfilled because NBA players want to make sure that they get paid. And during this pandemic, a lot of corporations and individuals, between being fired, laid off, and furloughed, the NBA was not spared to that. It's unfortunate the Lakers got a small business loan for almost $4 million. You usually do that and you think you're going to do it off wax and pay it back without the world knowing. When the world found out, of course, they had to pay it back. With that being said, let's count Steve Kerr's rings for a second. So he was a member of the Chicago Bulls, and I've been watching last episode. So he won 4 with them, 93, 96.
3 with them. Yeah.
Okay, he won 3 with them. Then he went to the Spurs and won 2 with them as a player. Then as a coach with the Warriors, he's won 3. So he got 8 rings. You think he's trying to go play some meaningless games and be looking over at Steph and Clay talking about put me in? Like, no.
Quarantine in like a hotel in northern Colorado.
No.
You know what I mean? Just stuck in a hotel in Great Falls, Montana, playing in a high school gym.
I want to get these dudes out of this season. I need to get these dudes out of this season, not begging me to play basketball.
Jalen, coming up next is something that's always tenuous here at Jalen and Jacoby. After this, it's the don't get fired topic of the day. I know there's a lot going on in the world right now, and we're all on our devices, staying connected to those that we're not quarantined with, and we're shopping online. And I just saw that AT&T started doing 2 really helpful things for those who want to buy a new phone or device online. They're offering fast, free, no-contact delivery and curbside pickup so that online shopping is as simple and safe as possible. On top of that, they have a flexible return policy so you can shop at ease. You can visit att.com to learn how to shop online from the safety of your home 24/7. Subject to change. Restrictions apply. We've been discussing The Last Dance here on Jalen Jacoby for a couple of weeks. There's so many top-tier players that we discussed, not just Michael Jordan, but Isaiah Thomas, who joined the show earlier this week, and Larry Bird, and Magic Johnson, Akeem Olajuwon was during that era as well. And when it comes to insurance, State Farm has all the makings of a top-tier player like those. First, State Farm makes it look easy. You can manage your coverage, pay your bill, even file a claim from the palm of your hand with the State Farm mobile app, which just so happened to be rewarded the best insurance mobile app in 2019. And like a great teammate, they know your tendencies. State Farm agents are local, so they'll help you choose coverage that fits your needs. State Farm is always there to coach you through it with answers you need when you need them. When you want the real deal, go with State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen Rose, as we enter sort of the 5th or 6th week of quarantine, you know what I've done? Did it on my birthday. I've done it one more time. Hang out with a friend. You know, go on a bike ride, social distance, 6 feet away. Don't touch each other. It was nice just to see a friend go on a bike ride and have a nice can of beer. Well, seems like some other people are also getting in touch with people that they don't live with and hanging out. Because the latest is this. Devin Booker went on a road trip with Kendall Jenner, obviously a sister of the Kardashian family. Now, Jalen, what do you think about the quarantine road trip between the NBA star and the supermodel?
Well, if you're taking a quarantine trip, you're getting up close and personal. and I'm not mad at him at all. Great job, Devin. You know, you put up all of these big numbers. You unfortunately been playing for a squad that hasn't been in the playoffs just yet. You know, he's one of my guys, Jacoby. I've talked about him since he started his NBA career as having real star potential. So I'm glad he's living his best life, enjoying himself with one of the people who seems to find her way in the affiliation of professional athletes, in particular NBA players that kind of look like him. But I'm not mad at her at all. She's living her best life.
Okay, well, you know what, Jalen?
Into the NBA. I'm not mad at her at all.
I'm glad you brought this up because I felt bad for some of those other players. So I decided that me and you would also go on a road trip. But when we hit the road, we would just go with the other guys that she's been linked with. You know, so we got a big minivan. You know, I drive a minivan. We got the 2 rows behind us. So we got Blake back there, Ben Simmons back there, Jordan Clarkson back there, Kuzma back there. And you know what? Now that you mention it, she definitely has a type. She definitely has a type. And it ain't you and it ain't me, but it might be a mix between you and me. I don't think I'll be hitting the road with you guys anytime soon, as I will be practicing social distancing. Now, Jalen, I always get nervous about these topics. It is now time for the Don't Get Fired topic of the day.
And now, the Don't Get Fired topic of the day.
There are millions and millions and millions of freshly unemployed Americans, and it's truly just a tragedy and a byproduct of the coronavirus. And what has happened is there's been sort of stimulus packages for people to lay unemployment claims in order to get money back. And the Kentucky governor was citing some fake claims that were made, and he cited the claim by a gentleman by the name of Tupac Shakur. Well, guess what? He had to apologize because there actually is a man named Tupac Shakur that lives in Kentucky, really? So he had to apologize to Tupac. What do you think about Tupac's unemployment claim and the subsequent apology?
Wow. The last name Shakur, and they actually named him Tupac? That is crazy. That is dope. As you look over my shoulder and see the gentleman who pinned Me Against the World. People need to check out some of his early work, too. Pac had so many classics, Jacoby.
Hold on.
And
hit the brakes. Hit the brakes. Hit the brakes. Hit the brakes. Jalen, I'm about to blow the lid off this story because I did some actual research into Tupac Malik Shakur, and I have a fact about this man that will blow your mind. I think, based on some of my Google searches,
is this true? Is this true?
Tupac
is this true?
Malik Shakur is a white guy. I'm not positive. I cannot report this as a fact. But I did some Google searches, and the guy who came up looked like me. That's what happened. I think that Tupac is a white guy, and I cannot wait to investigate this and confirm tomorrow whether or not Tupac Malik Shakur from Kentucky is a Caucasian American. God, I hope that's true. I don't know if that's true.
Tupac is the Michael Jordan of hip-hop. He made it mainstream.
And we're doing it even from our homes. I'm in my bedroom. You're in your basement. But one thing we've been doing, we've been shorting the people, Jalen. We haven't been giving the people the pie exclusive to step to. We've just been doing the show, trying to get ready for the air. I mean, I feel like we're ready for the air. We've been rehearsing, but have you gotten any calls from executives with a date of when we're going to get back on television?
No, what had happened was
I wrote a couple emails like, hey, we're ready to go. And no one said, oh, how about Monday? Maybe this Monday. Maybe we'll get you in May.
No text,
we can look at the schedule.
No emails, no announcements.
But you know what? We're ready. We're ready to get the people what they want on television. But in the meantime, we'll be making sure that we record some podcast exclusive for our loyal podcast listeners, because whether we're on at late night, whether we're on ESPN2 or ESPN1 in the afternoon, half hour, we always put our podcast listeners first. We always put our podcast listeners first. And Jalen, a couple things I want to discuss with you. The Last Dance after show, it's a hit. You know, big shout to Jason there. Big shout to Libby Geist. Everybody that works on it, Dop, Luna, Demetrius, everybody's helped us. Benabee, Tyner, like, we got 2 million people watching these things on Twitter, you know, making me feel like I should like put a collared shirt on or something. Should I put a collared shirt on for this week, Sunday night?
Not at all. Shout to our boss, Connor Shell, as well. because we appreciate being involved in this project. It's gotten an amazing response, not only on television with the viewers, but also, as you mentioned, our podcast exclusive with Jason. And the beauty of it is we didn't chase him off yet. He's coming back.
No,
he's coming back, Jacoby. He's coming back.
Oh, he likes it.
And,
he likes it. He changed his background from week 1 to week 2. You saw he changed up his background. He changed his camera angle. He's like, oh, we got 2 million people watching this thing?
No question. I told him you got to get his suits ready. And for those, we're fortunate enough to at least see the copies, a couple of days before they happen. And I'll just tell you, the next 2, oh my goodness.
They're coming.
Oh my goodness.
They're getting better and better.
Oh my goodness.
They're getting better and better, and I feel deeper and deeper and deeper into it. Getting so much better. Getting so much better. After we did one of the after shows, someone was like, thanks for spoiling it for me. I'm like, dog, it's the Bulls. Like, what do you mean spoiling it for you? They won 2 3-peats. You know this. Google it. I can't spoil a documentary.
25 years ago.
Yeah. So, Jalen, what do you make of this? Right? Chris Paul is on a show. I forgot exactly which show. Shout to them though. And he said that he declined. He was supposed to be traded to the Warriors for the Splash Brothers, straight up, for Steph and Clay. This was a long time ago, before they became the Splash Brothers champions. And he was supposed to be traded for them too, but said he would not re-sign with the Warriors because it's too hilly in the Bay Area, and he learned that from Full House.
Oh, my goodness. So,
first question.
First and foremost, Jacoby, I remember there was a 1.5 year period, and I even talked to the great Logo, Jerry West, about this in the Bay Area. Sat in his suite with him and watched one of their basketball games and watched the Splash Brothers play. Those 2 guys are so very compatible that they were going to have success wherever they went. Wherever they went.
That's a good point.
The way they shoot the basketball, the way that Clay can guard Steph's man, the way Steph can play off the ball, the way Clay can get going and be a heat check guy with the best of them. Like they're the most compatible backcourt probably ever. Like they complement each other so very well. And each happen to be son of former players. If they would have gone to New Orleans, they still would have been great shooting up the league and winning a couple of championships. That was going to happen. It was written.
Yeah.
As far as the Golden State Warriors, had they gotten Chris Paul, I think it would have been a version of the Clippers. Really
because
good.
You just never know, though. It's hard.
Next level.
Because there's a lot of dominoes that go into effect. That's why I don't like to go down these hypothetical things. Because does that mean the Pelicans get Anthony Davis? Probably not. Does that mean that the Warriors end up putting together the team that they had put together? Probably not. Does KD go there? Probably not. So it's hard to really go down these. But it's interesting to hear that Chris Paul told the story. And then we have the general manager of the Warriors at the time, Larry Riley, said it never happened. I think it's easy to deny trades that ever happen. But, it's like, yeah, it never happened, but that doesn't mean you didn't make a phone call. That doesn't mean you didn't explore it. That doesn't mean that, that it was never discussed because Chris Paul wouldn't be going on wax. The Warriors GM at the time, Larry Riley, the Warriors GM at the time.
Of course he don't remember because that would have been a dumb trade.
Well, and also when you have the Splash Brothers, when you see what the Splash Brothers did for the Warriors, you don't want to be the guy who's the one trying to get rid of them.
Correct.
That's not a good look for your reputation. Not a good look for your reputation. Not at all. Jalen, I want to talk to you about these hoodies that you had made. Okay? Because you had the hoodies made, and I heard you talking to, one of our great staff members, Brianna, who does so much for the show, but she also does our social clips. And I heard you complaining yesterday that you sent some hoodies and didn't hear back. So who gets a hoodie from Jalen Rose in the mail that he paid for with his own money, and you can't even tweet a thank you? Like, you can't get tagged in an Instagram post, Jay? Like, come on now. Like, maybe you should be sending these hoodies
treat
out.
me like a jump off almost. It was weird.
You know what? Yeah, you're not even. You didn't get Instagram validated. Your relationship is not Instagram official yet.
Yeah, it's like I gave up the goods and you didn't even follow me. You know, it's like seriously, you gotta like some of my posts if I'm giving you the goods. Like, man. So I bought these hoodies. It's a quarantine. I'm like, I'm gonna do a feel good thing. I'm gonna go on the pod. I'm going to announce it. I'm going to take down the names, DM your name, DM your address. Brianna's going to get it to me. Brianna got it to me. I took it down. I put them in the box. I got the tape. I took it to UPS. I took it to FedEx. One of the gentlemen asked for a medium. I didn't have a medium. But you know what I did have? A medium. Dr. J. A medium. Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, classic J and JT.
That's the best J and JT we ever had.
That
was the best J and J merch we ever had.
And I was like, you know what? I don't have a medium hoodie, but I'm gonna send them this shirt that I really want to keep. I really want to keep it. That's why I have it. I really want to keep it. Can't even fit it, but I really want to keep it. So big shout though to Nicholas Giles. Giles. He DM'd us back. He posted. Oh yeah,
shout to Nick. That's my guy. That's my guy.
But he's listening to this right now. Now these other two people probably was just listening to that day. Just listening to that day. I had so many people on the timeline like, yo, send me a hoodie. I've been there since day one. All of that stuff. But I picked two people. One of them, Brian Hutchinson, Hutchinson.
Oh, we calling out names of people that didn't hit you? Oh no!
Absolutely.
Oh, Brian. Oh, we airing Brian out like this? I can't co-sign this behavior, Jalen. Oh
I don't
no!
know if he didn't get it.
Oh no!
I don't know if it didn't got lost in the mail. Had the wrong address. He said he loved J&J. That means he's listening to this right now. Brian,
what happened, Brian? What happened, Brian? Come on, Hutch. Come on, Hutch.
How about some of our loyal
Did you send an invoice? Do you send an invoice? Does this cost them money? Do they have to send you money first? Do they have to Venmo you for this or anything? Did you hit them up for shipping costs or anything like? No, all free. Man. All free. Harlan, and Hutch can't even. All Hutch got to do is say thank you. You know what, Jalen?
Right now,
Jalen, look, I want to tell you something. I know you spell well. No. I got something important to say. No. I got something important. No.
Eric Ramsey. What you gotta say?
Wait, Eric Ramsey too?
Yeah.
Here, let me say something. Jalen, see, I know you so well. And you've got a very complicated life. You get pulled in a lot of directions and you do so much for so many people and people just don't appreciate it. You know what I mean? Not only do I see it, sometimes when you get in a sad mood, rarely you'll mention it to me. And you know what? I never thought the people who listen to this podcast would fall into that category too. You know what I mean? You gotta be more like Nicholas and less like Brian and Eric. You know what I mean? And that's just not about Jalen sending you a hoodie. That's about everybody in your life. If someone does something for you, whether they bought you a house or sent you a hoodie in the mail, just say thank you. That's all it takes. You know? Come on, Brian Hutch. What up, Hutch? What's up, Ramsey? Come on, Eric Ramsey.
The shirts are supposed to go to loyal supporters. That's the whole goal.
I know. Yo, you gotta say, y'all need to send an apology video. I've seen so many people take advantage of Jalen Rose's kindness. You know? There's so many people in your life that you take care of, that you go the extra mile for, and they don't appreciate you. And now we got your own fans, Brian and Eric, doing the same. You didn't have to buy the hoodies with your own money. You didn't have to put them in the box. Risk your life going to the UPS store.
I'm cutting.
Risk your life.
Tape. You know what I mean? I went to the FedEx. The line was out the door. Then I went to the UPS. It was a little bit shorter. So I stood there like 30 minutes. Outside, social distancing, with a mask on.
You know what, Erica Bryant, you got to hit up the J&J social accounts. We need to hear from you.
I had on a mask, dog.
We'll be back tomorrow. Why is that, Jalen Rose?
We're not done. We're not done. We're not done.